construction scheduling is a very important process in the project management. So in the project management involves planning, schedule, and control of the n number of activities involved in it. So for that, for construction of the any building, to consider a lot of activities and lot of resources which is used for the construction process, namely machines, materials, money, and time, etc. So these projects are maybe extremely large and complex. In construction projects are extremely large and complex, like a housing project, highway project, and construction complex project, and also a construction of the bridge, etc. So it is required a lot of activities involved in that. So we want to plan and schedule the activities in a proper way. So it is required the managers, especially in construction managers, must have a dynamic planning and scheduling system to get the proper results and also proper finishing of the construction. So in this, you have to take the condition and necessary change for the plan and schedule. In that, as I pointed out, a project management will be consist of three stages. One is planning, another one is scheduling and controlling. So planning will happen a set of various activities which is required when materials and machine, etc., which is also consume the resources of cost and time, which will be estimated prior to the start of the process. So each activity will have a constant relationship by means of that one activity with respect to another activity, which means that we want to plan the which is the starting activity, which is going to the next activity, which is the ending activity. So by means of it, the activities will contain a predecessor and also successor of that activity. So before starting a project or before scheduling, we want to plan the activity and how the activity sequence will be make a sequence will be done for activities. So next is the scheduling of the all activities. Based on the time estimate, the start and finish time for the each activity is worked out by applying forward and backward process techniques. By means of this, critical path is identified and along with the staggered flow for the non-critical parts. So this schedule of the activities will be relevant to the activities which is related to the critical part and also non-critical part, which is based on the duration of the activities. Then controlling. Controlling refers by analyzing, evaluating the actual process against the plan. So for example, the resource allocation, crashing and the review of the project and periodically report or carrying out. So these three activities, planning, scheduling and controlling, are the three activities which is considered for the projects. So these three are effectively used for the three phases. So once we planning, immediately we have worked out the cost and duration of this project and also we identify the critical path based on the cost and time. So next step is how to control the each and every process as per the planning. So this will be allocated for a project manager to how to allocate the resources, how to deviate the schedule, how to rearrange that schedule for the crashing and review of the projects in the periodic way. So coming to the next topic, that is PM book of time management. So this having a set of activities presented in this PM book of management. First step is we want to define the activities, and as far as I have mentioned earlier, we want to plan that activities in a sequence way. Third one is we want to estimate the duration of that all the activities. And also we have to find the duration of the resources. Before activity duration is made, we want to identify the approximately find the activity resources. But in the network, we are directly mentioned the duration. But the duration is calculated based on the activity resources, how to assign the activity resources. After activity duration, we want to develop the schedule. So after the schedule, we want to control that schedule as per as mentioned. the 6.1, that is remaining activity sequence of the activity 6.2, both are coming under the planning process. And 6.3 and 6.4 estimate time of the resources, both are coming under the scheduling until the 6.5 develop schedule. The final activity control the schedule will be based on the controlling activity. So planning, scheduling, controlling are the main important aspects of the project management. Then coming to the next scheduling operation, the scheduling will be start with the work breakdown structure. So the work breakdown structure is, for example, a major work. So for construction of the house, for construction of the house is the major work which we want to finish it within a specified duration and a specified cost. That is considered as level 1. So followed by, we have to create the sub categories of that to achieve that one. So for the foundation, construction of foundation, the construction about the ground, construction of roof kind of thing. We have to create that main activity into a sub activities, followed by further sub activities, and also followed by the specific activities. So these levels will be fixed based on the project manager and also based on the whatever work we have associated. So like that, if for an example, we want to construct like a complex project or hostel project like that. So the sub activity will be the construction of the different blocks, A, B, C, D block. So each and every A block, what are the sequence they are followed? B block, what are the sequence they are followed? So similarly, the work is breakdown into n number of activities. That is known as a work breakdown structure. I will explain this chart work breakdown structure with an example. So, based on the hierarchy divided by the overall project divided into n number of project activities. For example, here I will explain how much level and how the task will be associated for the construction. So, for example, a project which is the construction of the house. So, for this construction of the house, we have a sub-project topic, which is which will be by means of the defining the sub-project, which is the house structure, which each building with the building site with the project stage or major construction category. So, further, this house structure will be carried out by the concrete work, that is subnet work. The concrete work is the major subnet work for that activity. This followed by the n number of concrete work will be done for the footings, walls, and floor slabs. So this activity will be again further divided. The footing will be again further divided into excavation, form work, placing of footing, and style of the footing. So each and every activity still further excavation. So how many resources you are used? So form work numbers. So we have to calculate the n number of activities. So for making the house project, a house structure will be developed to define the activity stages. For that, n number of concrete work is an example. So out of concrete work, the plinth concrete work which consists of again the concrete work will be the n number of sub activities. So the plastering also one, and also painting also one work, plumbing also one work. Like that, we can divide the level 3 sub activity in a different way. So coming to the further that concreting activity divided into n number of activities. So for the single footings, we have another sub-relating activity which is considered a further divided into activities. So like that, this is an example for a house project. It is a model only. So for a project manager, you can create n number of activities related to that required for our process. So another for a building project, another example. So we can define it another way also. For example, a designing of a building project I want to create. So for that first step is I want to design the project. Second step is I want to procure all the materials. Third project is I want to formulate the project management concept. Final is construction. So the construction will be subdivided into, as I pointed out, the construction of the building and also the plumbing and fitting services, the final finishing with the proper work. So this structure will be again substructure and superstructure. Substructure will be further divided into foundation, etc. So superstructure will be the wall construction, roofing, etc. So these type in another example. So these many different way for a construction of the project work can be carried out. So this will be the starting introduction. So first we have seen that I have explained what is the construction project, what are the planning, how the planning, scheduling and controlling is important for the construction project. Second one is the how to make a one breakdown structure. So these things are very important. So next class I will check the I will explain the different activities presented in it.